Active transport is when solutes move into an area of higher concentration. So we'd say that it's against their concentration gradient. This is like, trying to shove more things into your closet when it's already fairly full. So it requires an external source of energy. Often that's in the form of the molecule ATP, but not always. And this requires the substance to go through a protein. We often call it a pump type protein, and that's going to transport it across the membrane. It's not just going to flow through. It's got to be pumped across. To do this, because it's going through a protein, the solutes still have to be relatively small. We'll see in a moment what happens with large solutes. But you can see here is an example of the sodium-potassium pump on the right. And it shows that the squares are going from the inside, which is on the bottom, to the outside. And the outside's already more crowded with squares, meaning it's higher concentration. So this pump, which is the red molecule in the middle, and it's a cut through, so it's not actually open to the environment. It's has an internal chamber. That chamber can bind the little squares, which are the sodiums, and pump them to the other side where they're already more concentrated. And then this pump actually takes in the potassium and then pumps it to the inside where it's already more crowded. And you can see ATP is used in this process in step number 2 over here. So this is showing active transport example. Bulk transport is when you're moving large molecules across the membrane, like proteins, polysaccharides, or lipid globules, big kind of stuck together lipids. You can even move single-celled organisms like bacteria across the membrane, or viruses. So these are moving using these vesicles, which are sacs of membrane. The vesicles carry the solutes within the cell, whether it's because they've been taken in or they're being taken out. So you can see some examples of vesicles down here. This is a cut through on the left and a protein in the middle of the vesicle. And you can see it's made of phospholipids, the same as all the membranes. And then on the right, here's another vesicle cut open, and then a vesicle that's not cut open below it. And you can see inside the cut open vesicle, there's all these pink particles, which are what the vesicle's carrying. And you can see that the bottom vesicle is going to be fusing with the plasma membrane. You see how it's getting really close to it. And that's because that's going to move that substance outside the cell in this case. So you can also move large amounts of small solutes at one time using bulk transport. There's 2 main types of bulk transport. We have exocytosis. Exo means outside or external. So it's going outside. Cyto is always referring to cell. So it's going outside the cell. So this is on the left image. You can see the vesicles inside the cell, and then they come up to the plasma membrane, fuse, and release their contents to the external environment. Then we have endocytosis. Endo means inside the cell. This is the opposite process, where you have substances outside the cell. The cell kind of like pinches inward into a vesicle, and then that can take it into the cell, and then it can be released inside the cell, that substance you've taken in, or transported to specific places in the cell. So that's the idea of both active transport and bulk transport.